Hello, hello. I'm Brittany Luse, and you're listening to It's Been a Minute from NPR, a show about what's going on in culture and why it doesn't happen by accident. I know I'm a little early, but happy birthday to you, Miss Mavis.
Thank you. And I tell you, 85, girl. I'm happy for everyone I get.
That is legendary soul and gospel singer Mavis Staples. And even though she's turning 85, she's still giving us new music.
I intend to sing until I can't sing no more. If it comes to that, you'll hear me yoo-hooing or something. I might be sounding like a bird. But you're going to be getting something from Mavis.
In honor of this legend's birthday, we're going to look back at the career of Mavis Staples because she's been at the center of so much history. In her family's gospel group, the Staples Singers, Mavis had front row seats to the civil rights movement and sang before Dr. Martin Luther King's speeches.
How about a nice warm round of applause to welcome the world-famous Staples singer?
20 minute midnight hour. Yeah.
Mavis was close friends with Prince and Bob Dylan, and she was mentored by one of the most influential vocalists to ever live, Mahalia Jackson. And yes, you could read all this in her brand new children's book, Bridges Instead of Walls, that comes out this week. But I wanted to know more, and boy, did that pay off, because Mavis is a storyteller. Please stick around, because this chat really took me there. Miss Mavis Staples, welcome to It's Been a Minute.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here, Brittany.
Oh, it's genuinely my pleasure to have you. But I want to take a moment to look back a little bit, to go back to some of your roots, as they say. Okay. You were a mentee of Mahalia Jackson, and you've described your bond as her being like an older sister to you. What was a moment that you can think back to that made it clear to you that Miss Jackson was looking out for you?
Oh, that was a moment when I first saw her, first met her. We were on the same gospel show. And I went out to sing. I came back to the dressing room and I grabbed my jump rope because, see, us kids, we didn't want to hear the preacher. We'd go outside and jump rope. Uh-huh. And she stopped me. She said, come here. At first she had told me, you're a good little old singer. And then I'm going out. She said, where you going? I said, I'm going outside to jump some rope. She said, you come here. She felt my chest, felt my neck. She said, don't you know you're damp? You don't go outside, jump rope after you sing like that. Huh. You want to get to be an old lady like me, don't you? And sing a long time. I said, yes, ma'am. So she has been my mentor, my idol, my teacher. Miss Sister Mahalia Jackson has been a part of my life.
It's beautiful and so incredible that you can say that you being a legend and her being such a legend had that kind of a connection.
I was blessed.
Truly. The two of you performed Take My Hand, Precious Lord.
Yes,
at the Harlem Cultural Festival in 1969, which many people now refer to as the Summer of Soul. What lessons from your experiences singing with Miss Jackson do you still carry with you today?
I carry just be gracious. Precious Lord, that was a song that the Staples singers sang. Mm-hmm. Precious Lord. Sister Mahalia, she asked me that day, she said, baby, I need you to help me sing this song.
Wow.
She said, Haley, don't feel so good. I need you to help me. I said, yes, ma'am, I'll help you. And she told me, you go on, get it started. And I started singing Precious Lord. Lead me on, yeah, oh yeah. I got through that first verse, and on the second verse, someone had helped her up to the microphone,
Wow.
and there I was, singing with this great lady.
Hold me, Lord. I want you to hold me. Take me to you.
I couldn't believe it myself. You know, I tell the kids that I sang with Sister Mahalia Jackson yesterday. Oh, no, you didn't. You didn't sing with Sister. No one would believe me. That was a song that Dr. King requested for her to sing at his funeral.
Wow.
And she did.
Lord, hold my hand and don't let me fall.
It was beautiful. Precious Lord.
Precious Lord. Speaking of gospel, in a conversation that you had with Questlove, who won an Oscar for directing a documentary about the Summer of Soul, I know you know that, you talked about how gospel and blues are first cousins. What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, the blues, you can sing a blues song and where you sing, "Oh, my baby left me."
Mm-hmm.
And the gospel, all you do is take my baby out of there and put Jesus. Jesus, take my hand. Or Jesus kept me. They're so close. Gospel and blues. Do you know my father, for years, my sisters and I were singing gospel.
Mm-hmm.
And Pops was playing the blues on his guitar. We didn't realize.
Ah, you pray, oh child. If your mother don't pray.
When he was supporting y'all on the guitar, he was bringing that blues sound through the instrument into your music.
Into our music.
Wow.
For years, we didn't know. To way later that he was playing. And we told him about it. He said, y'all should listen to me more often. You know, but yeah, I feel like the blues and the gospel are first cousins. I really do.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, what the blues is, in a certain way, as you do with gospel music, you are laying your burdens down. You're laying them down. You do it before the Lord in gospel, but you do it before an audience
That's
in
right.
blues.
That's right. That's exactly right.
It's so interesting. And like, and the longing that you may have, as you mentioned, for your baby or for a lover, you will share similarly in gospel that longing for God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. But when you made that jump from gospel to secular music, you know, you were met with some fury from the pews. You know, the argument is that these genres like jazz and hip hop are either the devil's music or they'll lead you into the devil's lifestyle. Like when you released songs like I'll Take You There, you know, churches said you were not welcome back to perform at their congregations.
That's right.
You know, years out from that now.
That's right.
What do you think about people calling that soulful secular music the devil's music? What do you think about that?
I think that something's wrong with them. In the first place, the devil don't have no music. Devil ain't got no music. And I'll Take You There is talking about taking you to heaven. You have to listen to our lyrics.
I know a place.
Ain't nobody crying. Ain't nobody worried. Ain't no smiling faces.
Lying to the races.
Where else could we be taking you but to heaven? And look, after all those interviews me and my family did, we were invited back in the church. And the very first request was, guess what? I'll take you there.
Wow.
Right in the pulpit.
Music can also encourage people through incredible struggle. And music had a huge influence on
Yes,
the
indeed.
civil rights movement. It created the soundtrack. It helped people feel seen and kept them going. And when I think about how music works in protest movements today, it seems like many of the songs are made outside the movement and then taken up by the protesters when they start singing or chanting them, you know, at their demonstrations or rallies or protests. Whereas your music back in the day was created alongside and with civil rights leaders. There's a moment in your new children's book that you highlighted when your father met with Martin Luther King Jr., which led to you and your family being an influential part of creating the sound of the movement. In your children's book, your father walked away saying, if he can preach it, we can sing it. Can you share a memory that really stands out to you in creating the sound of the civil rights movement?
Oh, yes. We had happened to be in Montgomery, Alabama on a Sunday morning, and we didn't have to work until that night. So we go down to Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. We were ushered in and seated. Someone let Dr. King know we were in the service, and he acknowledged us.
Wow.
He said, we're so happy to have Papa Staples here today and his daughters. He said, I hope you enjoy the service. Well, we enjoyed the service, and on the way out, Dr. King would stand at the door to shake the worshipers' hands as they filed out. And my sisters and I shook his hand and went on out, and Pop stood there and talked to him for a while. He finally came out, but when we got back to the hotel, he called us to his room again. And he told us, I like this man. I really like this man. And that's when he told us that if he can preach this message, we can sing it. And from that, we got started. The first song was March Up Freedom's Highway. First song that we wrote because of the highway when the marchers were going to Montgomery and they got all beat up and bitten by dogs and water hoses. We just went straight to writing protest songs.
Wow.
Why am I treated so bad? That was Dr. King's favorite.
You know I'm all alone as I sing this song. Hear my call. I've done nobody wrong, but I'm treated so bad.
He told Pops, he called him Stape. He said, Stape, you're going to sing my song tonight, right? Pops said, oh, yeah, doctor. We're going to sing your song. We would sing before he would speak at the meetings.
Wow. To kind of set the tone.
Set the tone.
Wow.
That's right.
My gosh. You know, you have this incredible career where you sing with your family in the Staples Singers. But you've also had a solo career, and you've done so many incredible things as a performer on your own and in your own right. But you have also done so much incredible collaborative work. Of course, with Curtis Mayfield, but also Prince, Norah Jones, and more recently, Hozier and CeCe and BB Winans and John Baptiste. I could go on. You know, you've worked across generations and across genres. I want to get into these collaborations. Why is working with other musicians in this way so important to you?
You know, I love all of them, so I can't turn them down when I'm at home listening to them. I'm singing with them, so I may as well go on and make this record with them. And I'm just grateful that the Lord has brought me this far. You just named a lot of people that I'm singing with, and I hadn't even thought of that. But you put it on my mind, and you lifted my heart. I did one song with Aretha. I told Aretha, I said, Aretha, you know, we could be good together. Your voice is real high and mine is real low. And she said, okay, May, we're going to do something. And we ended up doing Oh Happy Day. Which was a blessing.
That's how that happened. Wow. I mean, and your voices go so beautifully together. It makes perfect sense.
Yes. We were good friends.
You know, and thinking about other legends that you've also collaborated with, going back to Prince, I want to talk about that for a second because you're also releasing a new song called Worthy that you said is inspired by your collaborations with Prince in the 1980s.
Worthy, keep on flowing in your grace. Worthy to take up all that space. So go ahead and clap your hands. You're worthy of it all.
I heard that in your collaboration with Prince, you wrote him letters about your early life, and those served as the basis for your co-creation together. Can you talk to me about the process of working with Prince and what that was like?
First thing that happened was I came home one evening and I had a message on my phone from Pops. He said, Mavis, this man Prince called you. Want you to call him. I said, Prince? I don't know nobody named Prince. He said, girl, the one they call Purple. I said, oh, no. I had a fit. I said, not Prince, Daddy. He said, Mavis, take the man's number and call him. So it was late that night. The next day I called, and it was Prince's manager, Bob Cavallo.
Mm-hmm.
He said, yes, Miss Staples, this is Prince's manager, and Prince would like to sign you to his label. He'd like to record you. I said, well, wait a minute. I'm a grown woman. I can't sing that stuff, that vanity, and, I need a song with substance.
Mm-hmm.
He said he's very much aware of the nature of your talent, and he will be writing adult songs for you. He was upset with me, I think, the way he was talking. And I said, oh, well, okay. Well, fine, I'd like to meet him. So the next thing I know, Prince is coming to a show that we were doing in Los Angeles at the Hollywood Bowl. And I had told my sisters, I said, everybody's talking about, I'm going to be glad to meet this little guy, and this and that. And I said, I'm going to just speak to him and so on. When we got off stage, I looked up, and here come Prince in a white suit, white boots, white hat, and a lucite cane.
I can picture it perfectly.
I screamed it. Cool went out the window. I had told my sisters I was going to be cool. But cool went out the window. I screamed, and then I told him, I said, Prince, let me kiss you, only because my mother wanted me to kiss you.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my gosh.
He turned around. He said, kiss me on this side, too, Mavis.
Oh.
I wanted me to kiss him on both. So then we go in the dressing room. He would not talk to me, Bridget.
What do you mean he wouldn't talk to you?
He's so shy.
Really?
Oh, he's painfully shy.
I can't imagine anybody. I just can't imagine somebody wearing an all-white suit and a lucite cane.
Oh, he was shy.
Average night would be shy. Oh, my gosh.
He would give me one-word answers. So this is why I started writing these legal pad letters to him. That's what went off in my head. A light bulb said, write to him.
Wow. So that was your way of speaking to him and connecting to him.
That was my way of connecting with him. And then he finally broke out of it. And we got to be really, really, really close friends.
Wow. I got one last question for you. I think that when many people think of being a musician, they often think in terms of a career, but you have lived your life making music. You started as a girl, and you still create and perform music well into your 80s. Looking at 85 right now.
Yeah.
It seems like you consider music a life practice, maybe even a spiritual practice. But it's a practice that many people don't keep up their whole lives like that, whether they have a career or not, to keep singing and playing and writing music all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what drives you to keep making music, and what has it taught you?
Brittany, my voice is my gift. My voice is my gift from God. If I don't use it, I feel like I'd be abusing my gift. And it's what I love to do. I love to sing. I think they're going to have to drag me off the stage. Guess what, Brittany? I tried to retire earlier.
You tried to retire? I'm like, when was this? When was this?
I just felt like I had given enough. I'm getting up in age and get out of these kids' way and let them have the stage. I was off for 2 months, and I called my manager. I said, get me out of here. No, there would be no retiring. I'm just so grateful. I've had a wonderful, wonderful life.
And, I can't help but agree, Miss Mavis. You really, truly have had a wonderful life. And I'm so grateful that you came on the show today to talk to us about it. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you, Brittany.
That was legendary singer Mavis Staples. You can find her book, Bridges Instead of Walls, The Story of Mavis Staples, in stores July 9th.
Hey, Brittany.
Hey, Brittany.
Hey, Brittany.
Hey, Brittany. This is your producer, Liam. And last week, we asked for advice people received from their mentors. One listener, Ellen, wrote in, and her advice comes from her harp teacher. After Ellen confessed she hadn't practiced and wasn't getting better, her harp teacher said, "Who said you have to get better?" At 78, it was an idea that had never entered her mind.
Oh my gosh. Now that is some earth-shifting advice right there. Who said you have to get better? I just love that because it kind of reminds you that maybe you don't always have to practice something just so that you can get good at it. You can just practice something because it's fun for you, or because you're curious about it, or because it makes you happy. Thank you so much for writing in with that, Ellen. That was really beautiful. And as for me, an editor who I really adored and still do, who's always been a fantastic mentor to me and so kind. In my first couple years of working in podcasting, they told me to trust my own interests. It sounds so simple, but to me at that time, it was revelatory because I was in this new space where I was a complete newbie. I got started in a pretty white industry as a young Black woman. And I think there were times where I definitely felt like I was gasping for air trying to explain my point of view to some of the people around me, even though the work that I was doing and the show that I was working on was meant to be based around my personality. And this editor pulled me aside and told me that if I was interested in something and I could see the value in it, that could be good enough. And I still come back to it time and time again. And ultimately, that skill of being able to trust myself is, I think, what landed me at NPR, hosting this show where I'm talking to all of you. It just goes to show that sometimes the right few words from the right mentor at the right time can really change the course of how our lives work out. Next week, we are talking summer books. So I want to know, what is your favorite summer book and why? Send us a voice memo at IBAM@npr.org. That's IBAM@npr.org. This episode of It's Been a Minute was produced by
Corey Antonio Rose,
Alexis Williams,
Liam McBain.
This episode was edited by
Jessica Placzek.
Engineering support came from
Carly Strange.
Our executive producer is
Verilyn Williams.
Our VP of programming is
Yolanda Sanguini.
All right, that's all for this episode of It's Been a Minute from NPR. I'm Brittany Luse. Talk soon.